What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and tonight we have a very special guest in the house, Chef Justin Massie. Chef, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I'm hanging out here in the Bro Barn. I can't hang with the guys, but I do like, hanging out in here. I like the vibe in here. I don't know what half this equipment is, but I feel like I'm doing something by just sitting in here. So
I love it. I felt the same way when, and a nice surprise to be back in the Bro Barn again. We had your friend Gabe on, the trainer there, and he brought us in there and he talked about those same kind of vibes, that feeling you get there, man. And I could just see it. It might be the bright lights behind you, but dude, your smile is glowing right now. Looking good, feeling good, dude. Much. Justin, now I want to explain to these people. They're probably wondering, why is this guy sitting in Lane Johnson's Bro Barn right now? If you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, Jock Talk? Everybody, thank you for tuning in. You guys have any questions or comments for Justin, please feel free to throw them our way. You have anything for me, please. But today is Justin's day. Justin is the personal chef for Lane Johnson and the guys there over at the Bro Barn. So Justin, it is now. You asked, why would you want me to come on? Dude, I've seen your work, and I want to know what you're feeding these guys because I might have to get myself a plate. But no, dude, you're the one out there making our linemen look like they're linebackers, jacked up, looking great. So I wanted to bring you on, man, because first off, I got to meet you on the After Hours episode with Gabe, and you're a pretty cool dude. So I think these people are in for a real treat. So before we get into anything about your work there at the Bro Barn or anything else, I want to let these people know who Justin Massie is. So, Justin, how did you start off? Where are you from, and how did you end up getting into cooking?
So I am from the San Francisco Bay Area in California. I'm from San Leandro, California. So I spent most of my life in San Leandro. I spent about 5 or 6 years in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, where I did a lot of my culinary work right after culinary school. I spent a year in Asheville, North Carolina. And from Asheville, right from Asheville, I went to New Jersey. So that was it's 2021. That was in 2015. So I've been in New Jersey for 6 years now. And so like growing up, with my mom, she was teaching me how to cook from an early age. I feel like one of the first things that I learned how to do was make a breakfast sandwich. And it sounds like the simplest thing. And this was like when I was like 11 or 12 years old, my mom would be asleep. Everyone would be, asleep. And I'd be out there and I'd be like, I'm hungry. I'm 12 years old. I can't drive to McDonald's. Like, what am I supposed to do? So then I just asked my mom one day, I said, hey, like, can we learn like how to make like ham and egg and cheese? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. And so she started teaching me like, you get sourdough bread and you toast it in the butter with the ham and the cheese. And I started making it. And I was like, at 12 years old, this is better than McDonald's. So like, that was like one of the first things that I started actually like cooking. And then from there, like going into high school, my mom was like, hey, like, do you want me to, keep, teaching you how to cook like simple things? And I was like, yeah, of course. So in high school, I played a lot of sports. I played football, I played basketball, I played baseball. I was mainly a baseball guy. But like when I had the time, my mom would be like, okay, today we're going to learn how to like cook roasted chicken, or we're going to learn how to do rice, or we're going to learn how to do roasted potatoes. And then I just slowly started adding like very simple things. In high school, I was a pretty decent baseball player in high school, and I always had like aspirations of playing in college, whether it was just, junior college or, even like Division III or something. I'm only 5'10". I had decent like velocity I was a pitcher. I had this decent velocity as a pitcher, but like nothing that could ever like take me to like a super, high level. And my mom would even say like in high school, like, hey, maybe you should go to culinary school. I said, there's no baseball team at culinary school. So like, I don't know. I'm not going to culinary school. And so my senior year in high school, I ended up hurting my shoulder pretty bad. And it was kind of like a choice between like, hey, if you want to keep going like with your baseball and, possibly playing in college, you need surgery. And I was like, you know what, like, I don't know if I want to do that. It's going to put me out for like a year and, rehab and everything. And, just to maybe play college baseball, so I didn't get the surgery. And then just ended up going to junior college for 2 years right out of high school. And I was just like very stagnant. I was like, I don't want to go to 4 year. I don't want to do anything. I was just like very like blah about everything. My mom's like, you know what, Jess? She's like, this is the perfect opportunity for you to go to culinary school. And at that point, I said, okay, I'm going. Let's do it. Sign me up. Let's get this going. And so that was in 2006. And then I graduated culinary school from California Culinary Academy in San Francisco in 2007. It was like a 15-month program. And then from there, I worked a little bit in the Bay Area. And, I grew up in the Bay Area my whole life. I was ready to get out. So at that point, my brother was going to college. He was just about to graduate from Long Beach State, California, in Southern California. So he had one more year. And it just so happened that his roommate had moved out, and he had one more year. He's by himself. And he's like, he's like, you want to come down? You want to find some work in LA? I was like, hell yeah, I want to come down and work in LA. That's a no-brainer. And so that's when I went down to LA. I was down there for about 6 years. Worked at a couple of high-end hotels in Beverly Hills. Worked a little bit as a private chef there. Nothing like I'm doing now, but and then I headed from LA, went back home to Bay Area a little bit just to get back on my feet, and then that's where I headed to North Carolina, and then now I'm in Jersey.
Yeah, man. Wow. You got the Forrest Gump in reverse. You're going Cali, North Carolina, hitting up Jersey, going across the country. Love to see it, dude. But the question is, how in the hell do you go from your brother's room to Lane Johnson's room at the Bro Barn? How did you get hooked up with Lane Johnson? This isn't another Adam Levine making you come party kind of story, is it, or anything?
So let me tell you something. Can I I'm gonna be honest. This is a question that I literally ask myself on a daily basis. Like, even as I'm sitting in here, I'm like, what am I doing in here? Like, I'm in a professional football player's barn that he turned into a gym. So, but okay, so I went to high school with Gabe, right? Gabe's 1 year younger than me. Played baseball together. We were good buddies in high school. We've always talked like on and off, even outside of high school. We both are diehard Raider fans. So we would just text each other about Raiders, about baseball, like whatever. And like about a year and change ago, he texted me and said, hey, it wasn't even me. Like, I feel like if I remember right, he spoke to my brother, and my brother was like, hey, Justin's in Jersey. Because Gabe was like, hey, I'm in Jersey. And then Gabe texted me and was like, yo, what are you doing in Jersey? I'm like, what are you doing in Jersey? And he's like, hey, I'm training some guys. I'm training a couple, like he didn't mention who they were or what team or anything. He's just said, I'm training some guys in Jersey. And then to that question, or to that, statement, I say, who are you training in Jersey? There's nobody in Jersey. And he's like, oh no, I got a couple guys on the Eagles. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, like Billy is like right there. Because like I told you earlier, like I moved down to Cherry Hill like about 4 months ago, but I was living in Central Jersey. So I didn't even think like, Philly is right there, and,
they consider it Philly.
Yeah. So he's like, hey, I don't know what you're up to. I don't know, what job you have or whatever, but he's like, I have some athletes, the guys I'm training, which he said no names yet. And, their diets are not the best. And it would be fantastic if you could come down every so often and you can maybe cook them fresh meals, or maybe if you can find ways to maybe clean up what they're eating, And I said, absolutely, 100%. And I said, so can you like give me names now? Like, who are you training? And he's like, the other ones I didn't know, but I knew Lane. I said, Lane Johnson. He's like, yeah, Lane's like my full-time guy, and that's whose house I'm going to have you come to first. And so what's crazy about that story is like my the first day here, they happen to be filming something that's actually airing tonight. And it's a special, it's a fisherman named Mike Iaconelli. And he filmed the whole thing about his workout that he did with Lane and the other guys. And that was my first day here.
Oh,
that was my first day here. Gabe was like, oh, we have this famous fisherman, and we have Lane, and we have these guys, and they're filming, and just like make them food. And I'm thinking, like, you chose this day to be my first day here.
You must have impressed, man.
Yeah. I said, you gotta. He's like, no, you're fine. I know what you do. Like, you're good. Just do it. And I was like, okay. So it wasn't that it was like shell shock, but like I feel like we could have like eased into it a little bit better than that day. But because I walk in and Lane's like walking up to me like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, oh my God, just like a behemoth, of a man, at 8 a.m. So, but it was fun. That was my first day, and I had a good time, and everybody was happy. The guy who was here, Mike Iaconelli, like, he was real nice. He had his film crew that I fed. I had Lane, some of the other guys that were training with him. So it was fun. So yeah, so Gabe is my good friend. He introduced me to these guys. That's where it started, and that's how I'm here.
Pays to have a good friend.
Yes.
Let's rewind here. Sorry, it sounded like a little feedback there, but Lane Johnson is an incredible human being. Everything I've seen from him, he seems like a great person. I actually just saw that preview and started following that Mike guy, because in that brief little clip of him swinging around a sledgehammer and doing what they're doing, I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, if they ever try to make me do that, I'd die. But I was laughing so hard. I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun to watch. I'm like, of course, it's probably airing right when I'm having Justin on, but I'm definitely checking it out. And my brother actually had mentioned he saw a preview for something, and he saw you. He was like, oh, there was the personal chef was on one of the shows the other day. And he's like, aren't you about to have him on? And he's like, oh, so you're becoming yourself quite the celebrity, Justin. So, I mean, that's crazy that you found yourself there because of Gabe helping you out. And that's the way, and it's not just Gabe, Gabe knew how much, you're a great chef, dude. I've seen it. I haven't got to taste it yet, but dude, there's a reason you're still there. Obviously the first day went well. Lane Johnson just seems like a down to earth, pretty awesome dude, but I could sit here and say that, but I don't know. I did get to meet him the other day when I met you online for a minute, but I haven't got to really get to know him yet. I would love right now for you to just give these people an idea. What is Lane Johnson like? I mean, I'm going to ask you about somebody else then too, but what is Lane Johnson like? I mean, his house, he's got a barn behind him. I mean, this is just nuts, man.
So I'll give you the first thing about Lane. Lane is a man of few words. Okay. And you know what? I feel like it's one of those things where you maybe don't get, how he is right away. But as you kind of like hang out with him and talk to him, it like slowly blossoms, and so like he's a big teddy bear.
One of those.
Yeah. From the look, you just look up at him and you're like, this guy is like 7'8" and he's jacked, and you're just like, oh my God, it's just like and the big burly beard, and a bald head, and you're just like, but once you get to know him, he's super nice. He's very giving. Like, he's one of those guys where it's like, even Gabe will say, like, he doesn't even say no. He's just like, here. Lane is an awesome human being. And if I didn't love, working here, like, I wouldn't have taken this full time, but I did because I like being here. I love being here every day. It does not feel like work. It's the first time in my entire life that working here does not feel like work. It's just, I feel like I come and I get to hang out with like professional football players every day. That's what I do. I feel like
you get to make food for these professional athletes. So why don't you just actually, right now, I was going to ask you this, but this seems like a perfect bridge to it. What is a day like being there at the Bro Barn? I mean, what are you feeding these guys in the morning? What time you got to get up? What time is someone up before you already eating a snack? I mean, what's it like a day?
Yes. And let me tell you, the first person so I try to catch him, but sometimes I don't make it because he's here. He's the first one here, Mr. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was here every single morning. Not like cruising in at 5. They're working out at 5 a.m. They're doing their workout at 5 a.m. So, some days I get in at like 6:45 and he had already gone through, a full workout, and maybe I catch the back end where he's like, hey, can you give me some like breakfast or whatever, give me a scramble, give me this, give me that. And he'll take it home with him or he'll eat it there. But most days when I got here, he was long gone. So usually he and Gabe would be doing their workout. They do a little workout here in the barn. They go to the field and do some training on the field. I would usually get here maybe like 7:30. I do kind of like my prep for the guys when they come in for breakfast. Some of them wanted to eat when they got here. Some of them didn't. It would mostly be like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So maybe some guys would grab like some eggs or some bacon, breakfast sandwich, breakfast burrito, whatever. Like I literally have it set up for these guys. Like they can just order whatever they want from me. So I'll keep like a certain amount of like things in the fridge, and like Caesar will walk in and be like, hey, can you give me a breakfast burrito? Yeah, no problem. Hey, can you get me like Nate, just, hey, can I get like 3 eggs, throw a little sriracha on there, just like a little something so they can have some energy, to go through their lift. So usually, I get the guys their breakfast, 9 o'clock. They come out here with Gabe. They'll maybe do like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. They do their workout. And that whole time that they're doing their workout, I'm doing all their stuff for lunch. So let's say I have on any given day, I have John Runyon, I have Cesar Ruiz, I have Nate, I have Nick, I have Isaac, I have Matt, right? And then I have Lane, obviously. So these guys are all working out. I'm doing all their meals based on they all have different needs. Like maybe one needs high calorie, maybe one needs low calorie, maybe one is on keto, maybe one is like an allergy to nuts. So I have like specific things that I do for each one of them. Maybe somebody just wants to take home lunch. Maybe somebody wants lunch or dinner. So I'm doing all this setup. So by the time they're done, they can either grab their meals and like eat them there if they want, or it's just kind of like grab and go, eat them all. So that's kind of how it is. Jalen and Gabe in here early, breakfast, prepping. Guys grab their stuff, eat it there, on their way. So, and then
Now,
usually like, let's say Nate's on keto Monday, Nate's on keto Tuesday. He decides Wednesday, I don't want that. Let's do juice diet for a couple of days. So usually they'll hit me up the night before. Hey, Chef Justin, whatever they want to call me. Let's do juice for the next 3 days. Okay, you got it. So I'm up early the next morning. I'm at the store. I'm getting stuff for juice. I'm getting stuff for like I literally I do like fully customizable with these guys, whatever they want. So
that's awesome. And not trying to give you a delayed response. I think because of the not having headphones, it keeps like the background. I just saw a comment, so thank you for that. I was saying that before the show, Justin. I don't know why it's doing that, but sometimes if I talk too soon after you're talking, it starts acting weird. So don't think I'm trying to just be old man River here and not answer you. But dude, I loved it, man. I just hearing what you were saying. I just customizing these guys, making sure that they're in shape. I mean, you see these linemen. I remember seeing last year Lane Johnson. I look at a picture of him. I'm like, is that Stone Cold Steve Austin out there? Like he looks like a linebacker, man. Now when they put the pads on, obviously that dude, nobody is getting through. He is the best right tackle in the game. And with a diet like that, I can see why. And now there was a question earlier. I wanted to wait to bring it up. He said, would you go on and beat Bobby Flay? And the reason I wanted to hold off, I wish I would have got the one picture because it was of the to-go orders that you do make for these guys so that they're ready to go. But I grabbed a couple, and my God, I didn't know if I wanted to show them because I'm hungry. That ribeye looks amazing.
So
maybe you could explain what this is.
Okay, did you see on the post who I made that for?
I believe Jay Glazer, Lane Johnson. Dude.
Yeah, and it was and Gabe. Usually I if Gabe's here, he's included in that. But that was kind of one of those things where, like, here's the thing. Like at this house, at any given day, any given time, whether it's a celebrity or an athlete or anybody, like they can just walk. They just walk in, and like Gabe will just be like, hey, Jay Glazer's here, or like Baldy's here, or like whoever, Stan Efferding, or like all these famous weightlifting guys that are like in and out of, of this house, or in and out of, the barn back here lifting. So it's just like literally like hours before, hey, Jay Glazer's coming over tonight. Like, can you come up with something? And I'm just like thinking, God, like I don't even know. I don't know what Jay Glazer likes. So I'm just thinking. So it's like when I get in that kind of situation and I think, okay, these guys are like manly men, they lift, they're all fit or whatever, you can't go wrong with something like steak, potatoes, veg, and a beautiful sauce. So Lane's super into like sweet sauces on his steak. So I did like a kind of like, I made my own kind of like balsamic glaze, and that's what's brushed on top of the steak. And then that's a big ribeye. That's like, it's like a 20-ounce ribeye.
Look at that thing, ladies and gentlemen. I thought maybe you did that, the glaze for Jay Glazer there. Not sure, but I didn't know. Regardless, the food that you're putting on there, guys, if you're not following, it's Chef Justin Massie on Instagram. Please do me a favor. Go check it out today. Apparently, you had a special guest, or maybe it was yesterday, not sure, but Jalen Hurts apparently asked you for a little something special with his keto diet in there. I have a picture of that as well. I wanted to ask you about Jalen Hurts, so I'm going to toss his meal up there. Maybe you could explain that one, and maybe explain just a little further. I know you said Jalen Hurts is the first guy in there, but what's he like as a person? The fans are dying to know, and maybe even throw in your own little opinion. You see this guy as QB1 of the future?
Absolutely, 100%. And I say that, as diehard Eagle fans, maybe they, look a little bit more in depth in the players, and and I've become an Eagles fan in the last year because I work for these guys. I root them on. I'm feeding them a diet that's supposed to we're coming up with to help their performance. So of course I want to watch them and root them on and make sure that they're doing well, because then in turn, even though it's a very, very small part, I feel like I'm a part of the process, So yeah. So yeah, I feel like I'm definitely always making sure that they're doing well. I'm a fan now. I'm a fan. But yeah, so Jalen, that picture that you just put up, Jalen had asked me there you go, right there. Jalen had he usually with his diet, I've been working with Jalen for the last couple months, and usually with his diet, he'll usually talk to me maybe like the day before and say, hey, can you make this, or like for the next couple weeks, let's do this. And it's very clean. He eats a very clean diet, the cleanest diet of anybody that I've worked with here. They eat clean diets, but he's the ultra clean. Lots of greens, lots of veggies, meat, but like not so much meat, but so kind of keto-esque. So with this one, he said, hey, love some oxtail. I'm thinking, oh God, like I haven't made oxtail in forever. It's been years since I did oxtail, and actually it was kind of crazy to look for it, because it's like I went to like 6 or 7 stores before I could even find it. But he was very specific, and when I talked to him over the phone about it, I'm like thinking like, man, for like a 23 or 25, he's 24, I think, right? Yep. For a 24-year-old, he knows a lot about food. It was very impressive. He's like, hey, I'd like the oxtail with this seasoning and braised like this, and I'd like this kind of rice, and I'd like this kind of veggie. So it's like most 23, 24-year-old like right out of college don't talk about food like that. So it was actually, I was quite impressed, and I didn't say it to him last night. I'm going to though, but I was he's just I'll segue into being impressed by how he talks about food, with just to be impressed about him overall, that he's just a fantastic person. And it's just, I feel like the way he holds himself and the work ethic that he puts in, I can't sit here and break down, how he is as a quarterback. I can't do that. Gabe can do that. Some of these other guys can do that. But I can tell you, just from like a work ethic standpoint, I feel like he's going to be something big, and I've had that feeling this whole time. And, all these like rumors about maybe Deshaun Watson coming or something. I'm like, I started to actually, you guys as hardcore Eagle fans are invested. And I don't know how you guys feel about that, but someone who's even been like, yes, I do have a bias, but like somebody who's only been an Eagle fan for a year, I was like, get that out of here. Like, I do not want to see Deshaun Watson here. I don't, like you have your star right here. Like, let him go. Let him go. Let him fly.
Justin, here at On the Road to Victory, we are huge fans. Jalen Hurts is QB1, and he will continue to impress and impress every day. I feel he's making people jump on the bandwagon. But I'll be real with you. When I had Gabe on a couple weeks ago, and now having you on, every time I talk about him, I want to jump through an effing wall. This guy is the Terminator for me. I feel like he just means business. And you're talking about effing food here, Justin. And this guy takes that seriously. Gabe was telling me he makes him play Madden with me. He wants to beat you at everything, but it's not about beating you. It's about bettering himself. And he just seems like exactly what Philadelphia has been asking for, a leader. And sure, there's that small game samples. What games were you watching? Because I watched him come out his first start and beat the New Orleans Saints. The best defense at the time. Let me tell you something. Jalen Hurts is going to take everything that everybody's used to say to him, and he's going to use that against them. And I'm with you 100%. I think this dude is the future, and you are the one that's there seeing him every day. So hearing that from you, it makes me feel good inside. I do not want Deshaun Watson. I want Jalen Hurts, QB1. I just bought my kid his first Jalen Hurts jersey. Dude, he was excited. He's like, oh, if you talk to Jalen, tell him I said hi. I'm like, I'm not talking to Jalen Hurts, but he's in love with him already. The first game he watched him, he was like, oh, he's going to be our quarterback. And I'm like, don't say that. People lose it because Card, we all know. But hey, he's here. It's time. Let's go. I'm with you, dude. I think that you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, this is just coming from the standpoint of somebody who, I don't see him all day, every day, but the interaction that I've had from, between he and I is just like, I feel like when you're somebody who feels like you can like tell the character of a person, like, pretty quickly, it's just like, you get that from him. He has like an aura around him. He has like an aura around him, and you just have that feeling. You're like, this guy is gonna be big, And he had like, to me, I'm like, anybody who wants to judge what was going on last year, you can't judge because like they had no linemen, they had no receivers, they had no running back. Like he was just thrown in, like as a rookie. It's like, what did you expect him to do?
I hit the nail on the head. Trying to give it time so it doesn't do that feedback. Oh, it's killing me. But let's be real here. You just said it. There's 4 games with no offseason. It was the weirdest offseason ever with no preseason. And then the kid gets thrown into the fire on a team where no one could do anything. Carson Wentz, everyone's savior, was getting his ass kicked left and right. We set the NFL record for the most starting offensive lines in a year. So, yeah, it was tough without Lane, without Brandon, without Jason was the only one that stayed. It was tough. So for him to come in and to do what he did, it was more than impressive to me. It showed me actually the opposite of what a lot of people are saying. I was like, holy shit, this kid's about to take Carson Wentz's job. And, well, here we sit, Justin, and it kind of looks like he did. So let them keep sleeping. Allow them to just sleep, because Jalen Hurts means business. And, dude, you've got me even more excited now. Every time I talk about him, you said it. When you can read someone, you just feel it. Like when I met you, we just hit it off. I thought you were a cool dude. You feel something. With him, I feel something all right. I feel like he's just going to beat my ass at something, and whatever it is, you know what I mean? Not like hurt me, but like he's just going to win. Like he just is a determined guy, but he has so much swagger. Like I don't know how he does that.
Yeah. And so that's why I said, like, you say swagger, and that's why I said he has like this like aura like around him. Like he's like you can see this like light around him, He's a good guy. I hope he kills it. I'm going to be rooting him on every single game. Like I said earlier, I'm a diehard Raider fan, and I don't know what I'm going to do when they go to Las Vegas. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I'll hope that the Raiders barely win, maybe. I don't know. but I don't know. I almost, dealing with all these guys on the Eagles, I almost have like put the Raiders kind of behind me and like focus on the Eagles. So I'm like, am I becoming like a real Eagles fan? I don't know.
That's something I wanted to ask you. As Gabe said the same thing. He was like, look, the Raiders, I grew up watching them. I love them. But when you're so close to someone like that, it just kind of, brings you closer to him. And he talked about, I always thought the Raiders fans were the most, intense. He's like, but you guys truly are. And I'm not saying we're more passionate than Raiders fans, just saying he said he was thrown, back by seeing it. And it just, he had to be part of it. His body was just telling him like, dude. So I wanted to ask you, what's it like? What was it like your first game, like being there? Did you feel like that first game, like, holy shit, I could get down with this. These people are nuts and I'm loving every second of it. Or were you a little timid at first?
So, because of what was going on last year and because, I was, I had my full-time job and then I was just doing, taking care of Lane and, and like I told you earlier, Matt, part-time, I wasn't able, I didn't go any games last year. So, this year I will be going to games. I'll probably be at the opener and then I'm going to be at the Chiefs game. So, and then my wife is 3 months pregnant. So, and I'm going to be going to the games with her, but like, as it gets cold, I don't, really want to bring her out to the freezing cold. So that's what we're going to try and get to, as many games as we can with the warmer weather. But I'm definitely going to be there. I'm definitely going to be at the games. I'm definitely going to be rooting them on just like I root on the Raiders. I'll be checking my phone to see, what the Raiders are doing for their game, but yeah, I'm in.
Love it. Now, we're over the half hour, and this thing, it sounds like Poltergeist is going. If you rewatch this, you're going to hear the sounds that we're all hearing because it's like, so that's why I'm talking weird. But dude, you're giving us great stuff here. And we've gone past the half hour. I told you this was going to fly by and I wasn't even going to get to ask you all the stuff I wanted. But what is your prediction? We've heard, you say that Jalen Hurts is QB1. Now, with that, the Eagles have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. If they're healthy, I don't care what anybody says, and we can thank you for keeping them healthy, keeping them fresh. So that's going to happen this year. We know we have a run game. We've got young receivers. The defense is improving. All we need is that quarterback to be right. And, of course, everybody, and obviously that's huge, but a lot of people have already written him off. We are both on board with Jalen Hurts, so we know that. Your opinion on the Eagles this season. Do you think they could take the NFC East already this quick of a turnaround after just getting rid of their head coach last year and their quarterback?
So, like I said, I can't sit here and break down game film, and I don't know the players like you guys know. But from my perspective, I do think that they will have a good season. You really just, in my opinion, you really just have to get by the Cowboys, in the NFC East. And it's not like the Cowboys are untouchable in my opinion, but to me, like at this point with and a healthy offensive line with Devontae Smith coming in here and killing it, and Jalen actually having some receivers. And if they're able to keep the double number one tight ends, I'm like, yo, if he has Ertz and Goddard and Devontae Smith and a healthy line, and Miles Sanders stays healthy, and watching Kenneth Gainwell the other day, I'm like, yo, he's gonna be good. He's gonna be good, and like putting all that together. That's why I said, man, the Eagles, like they may be like the surprise team and just kind of take, the true test is going to be, they have the Bucks and the Chiefs right from the get-go. So it's like if they can hang with those two teams, I feel like that's going to be a good sign of like what's to come for the rest of the season.
Battle tested. It still did it. That's what we want. The Chiefs, you want teams that are going to push you to the limit. And I think that's perfect for the beginning of the season. Get that out of the way. If we lose, that's fine, as long as we're putting up some fight. And I know you're saying you don't know much about that stuff, but dude, I just want to hear your opinion because, that's what we're here for. We're all in this brotherly love and hoping to watch our guys succeed. So you said exactly what I wanted to hear. We have the talent. We have the guys. If we stay healthy, I don't see why we can't. The excitement, I saw it on your faces. You're going through. You're like, oh my God. Ertz and Goddard and Miles and dude, we got Devontae and Rager and Quez Watkins and dude, it's Kenny Gainwell. I'm ecstatic, Justin. I am. But before we go, I would like you to answer. And Jock Talk, he's been saying, man, Gabe would have been the guy to ask for the squats and who's the strongest. But as he said, the most impressive, like, because obviously these guys are offensive linemen. What Gabe said was Jalen Hurts, the fact that he's a quarterback in there squatting like 620 pounds, that's insane. That's insane. So without you feeding him that food, he's not lifting that much weight. So you play a huge, huge part in this, Justin. And don't sell yourself short because we're depending on you this season, my man. But before we go, I would like you, is there a story that you can tell? Now, it doesn't matter if it's not safe for work. You can tell that, but I don't know if you're allowed is all I'm saying. Any funny stories you can tell? If not any funny stories, who is the funniest guy that shows up at the Bro Barn? Who is always bound to give you a good time?
Nate Irby, and I don't want to say it's not even close because I want to give credit where credit is due to all the other ones, but I'm just saying that Nate by far has the best sense of humor. And it's a sense of humor that not only what he says, but the expressions on his face too. And I also have, I do have a slight bias because out of all the guys, every now and then I bring my son here. My son is almost 2. So I bring him with me and he just, for some reason, just flocked to me, and, it might be the baby face, it might be the personality, but the only one, he sees Lane and he cries, he sees Matt and he cries. He's, but for some reason he just had that connection with Nate, but it's definitely Nate. And like I was telling you earlier, the combo of Nate and his brother Nick, who plays linebacker at Wisconsin, who was, headed for the NFL as well. Those two together is like, it's comedy heaven. It's awesome.
That's great. Now, Landon Dickerson, I was going to say that this would probably be maybe a Gabe thing, but hey, you hear it all. This is actually a question I was wondering myself, and I would believe that they could convince Landon to head there. But do you, in the foreseeable future, do you know anything about Landon Dickerson maybe paying a visit now that he's off of the NFI list and ready to get back to practice? Is he going to make a stop out there?
I hope so, because I think at this point there's a few linemen. There's a few linemen who haven't been here. But I would hope so. I know every year they do a lineman dinner. So I'm hoping that, if for any reason they have a lineman dinner over here that, I would be able to, meet the entire line. So, and I definitely want to meet him. So, because I hear he's quite the comic.
That's what I hear too. So, sorry for the background noise, guys. I don't know why that keeps happening, but dude, he not only Nate Erbig, I've loved this kid for a couple years, just the hope for him. But now hearing the inside scoop about how funny this dude is, I can do nothing but root for this young man. And I really think that Erbig is a big part of our future. These linemen aren't going to be around forever. So I heard Lane talking about, how he's trying to pass that wisdom down that he was gifted, from some of the Eagles greats. And, he's playing with John Runyon's son now. You're making meals for John Runyon's son. Like, what a wild world we're living in, dude. And it's just awesome to see these connections here. We'll take one last question before we head out. Have you met Jordan Mailata? Has he been out there?
I haven't. So that's one of the linemen that I was not able to meet. After seeing him sing, I would love to meet him just because of that.
Come out, play you guys a song.
Yeah, he has some pipes. And I've heard that he has a good sense of humor too. So, like I said, hopefully at some point I'll get all those guys together and maybe be able to cook for all of them all at once. That would be awesome.
Justin, you make that for them, and they'll keep coming back. Okay.
I was actually I was gonna say I was graced with the opportunity to meet several guys on Jalen's birthday, because Jalen had to get together with a lot of Eagles. And I walked into the room and I start recognizing. There's probably a lot of guys that you guys would have recognized, but I don't know everybody yet. So you would have been, because I realized I was talking with this guy and I didn't know who he was, and I'm talking with this guy and all of a sudden I look and I'm like, that was Darius Slade. And I was having a conversation with, you know. And then, I walk into the house and guy's got the hood on, and then, I'm not really too sure who it is. And then I see the legs, and I'm like, oh, yo, that's Devontae. Like nobody else has legs like that. And then, I turn over and I got a big tall guy with, big curly hair. And I'm like, yo, there's Dallas Goddard. I didn't know he had like the big curls now. And so it's like I said, I probably a lot more people that I should have recognized that obviously you guys would have recognized like right off the bat, but I've got to meet a huge chunk of the team, and I feel very honored. It's because of Gabe that I'm in this position, and I feel I'm very lucky, very, very lucky.
Dude, I'm lucky to have met you guys, hear your stories, great stories. That's what On the Road to Victory is all about, man. It's not just about talking to football players or media people. It's about getting great stories that connect us and how football does connect us, man. And just hearing that, I'm living vicariously through you, dude. Just seeing your face talking to these players, like just the amazement I would feel. Like, you've got it, man. Wake up and feel good about yourself every morning, dude, because you're doing great things right here, and you just keep building on that, man. And I'm not saying you're not already, just watching you. It's been awesome these last few weeks, and I can't wait to keep getting to know you, man. It was more than an honor to have you on. Jock Talk, thank you so much. We appreciate all you guys tuning in. And I'm not sure what time, but go to Lane Johnson's Instagram. He posted on Twitter as well what time that fishing show is going to be on. So definitely check that out. Thank you, Carlos. Got the old school players in the house. I appreciate it. But guys, this has been awesome. Thank you to Justin. If you guys are watching this later, you want to comment, I always try to get back to you guys. But Justin, I want to give these final seconds here to you. If you have any final thoughts or any words you would like to leave us with.
I mean, basically what I just said. I feel I'm very lucky to be in the position that I have, to meet the people that I have and work for the people. People would chomp at the bit to be able to say hello to them. And here I am being able to cook for him and customize meals for him, and the same with Lane and all the other people that I've been able to meet through this whole process, and the people that I'm going to continually, meet going forward. I feel so lucky. It's the first time in my life that my work does not feel like work. It's just I'm in a great position, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I was a diehard Raider fan. Always had my eye on the Eagles. I told you before, I was always like, the McNabb and Westbrook and Owens Eagles, like, oh man, I loved watching those guys. That was one of the most fun teams I've ever seen out of any football team. So I always had my eye on them, and now it's like, now I'm 100%, invested in making and watching the Eagles do well. So, just like when I have Raiders games and you have like a bad loss and you're like, oh God, this loss is going to kill me for like the entire week until the next game, until there's a good win. Like, Eagles losses are going to hurt now. So
it means the world. Now, you are a part of this success of this team, Justin. Without you, these guys aren't getting their bodies right. They're not eating right. So that success, that's your success too. They talk about all the trainers and everybody, the coaches, everybody matters. And you are definitely one of those pieces. And we're going to all be cheering for you. I know I'm going to be rooting for you. Hope to get to meet you in person at one of these games here, man, because it has been an honor to get to know you, and having you on tonight has been truly my pleasure. Maybe we'll have to get you on again one of these days. We'll get you in the kitchen or something. We'll figure something out. But dude,
anytime. Yeah, anytime, Jimmy. I'm here anytime.
My man. We got one more fan question, then we're gonna head out. Who's your favorite Raider?
Oh, Rich Gannon.
Interesting.
And that may not be everyone's favorite, but that just happened to be like the time when, I'm a teenager, I'm a diehard Raider fan. Rich Gannon finally took us to a Super Bowl. He got an MVP, and he's just like, he was killing it for the Raiders at that time. So I have a lot of favorite Raiders. Obviously Tim Brown is probably everybody's favorite Raider. But I also really loved when Jerry Rice came to the Raiders and killed it at 40-something years old, But I would have to say I loved Rich Gannon,
I could say that was like McNabb for me.
Yeah,
so I would say Bo Jackson's my guy. When I grew up, I had a little affinity for him, but my dad was always, don't you ever root for those, because 1980, you guys beat our ass in the Super Bowl. So he always remembered that. But dude, this has been awesome, man. I appreciate you taking the time tonight. I appreciate all of you guys for taking the time tonight. But we will be back and doing this again. Justin, you keep taking care of our guys, and we'll be rooting for you every day out there, my man. But thanks again.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Jimmy. Anytime.
Of course. And thank you to everybody tuning in. If you guys are watching this later, please feel free to comment. Always get back to you. But we're going to get rolling out. Thanks again. And as always, go Birds!